All right, good morning, freshmen. It is time for us to begin talking about registration for next year, for your sophomore year. You should have a variety of things in front of you. We're going to be making our way through those and through this video for the next 20 minutes or so. Your attention is greatly appreciated. We're going to talk about the importance of this process multiple times throughout, which again is why your attention during this time is appreciated and important. You should have a couple things in front of you: your course catalog, your transcript, which has your first 2 trimesters of grades here at Granada on it, your course request worksheet, and some other flyers and information. What I'd like you to pull out and kind of put on the top is your course request worksheet and your transcript. We're going to be looking at the transcript here in just one second and then working our way through the course request worksheet throughout. Also, if you have a writing utensil, preferably a pencil, as we make our way through the presentation here, you can literally jot down notes or circle courses and get some of your decisions for next year made as we walk throughout. Your online course request process begins and opens now, and all your course requests must be submitted by the deadline. That is on your paperwork. Take a look at that now and make sure that you get this process done here in the next week and a half. All right, 240 credits is the graduation requirement here at Granada. A process that you should be familiar with, but 5 credits are earned for each course that is passed. That's anything with a 60% or better that's required to pass a class. 70% or better is required to pass a class and meet college entrance requirements. Okay. Oops, I'm sorry, one more time. Bottom half of the slide here. Just so you know, a full-time student here in Livermore Valley is considered taking 4 classes per trimester. If you do the math there, you take and pass 4 classes per trimester over the course of your 4 years here. You're going to be right on pace to finish with 240 credits. Okay, the trimester system is great because it gives you an opportunity to take more classes than that and experience, especially in the realm of electives, some courses that might stimulate and produce some interest for you on down the road. More of that to come. These are the subject areas. You got introduced to kind of a sheet that looks like this through FIT this fall, and as you look at your 4-year plan, many of these things should look familiar to you, that you're going to take 4 years of English, or that you need to have 30 units out of CTE, VAPA, or foreign language. We'll get into all those details, but just wanted to kind of flash the big picture at you here. This is what we're going to accomplish for you the next 3 years and a trimester with your time here at Granada. These are different departments. Again, this is kind of redundant to the last page, but again, just wanted to point out, and we're going to move through these one by one, just like your course request worksheet has them laid out. So let's begin with that. Go ahead and put that up on top. Your options for next year are one of 3 for social science. You're either going to take world history, you're going to take honors world, or you're going to sign up and take AP European History. Either of those 3 meet the requirement for graduation for sophomore social science. There's also a seminar for AP Euro, and much like you were encouraged to do last year, and we'll talk about here in a second, challenge yourself with honors or AP classes, certainly, but do so if you have an interest in those. Okay, so same with English next year. You got English 10A and B, or you've got the option of honors 10A and B. You should be taking honors or AP courses in these areas if you've got a high interest in them, you love to read them, or you're a strong writer, you enjoy their content, you want to challenge yourself. This should not just be a GPA bump type decision. Please be smart. Look at this and say, is this really something I'm interested in? If you think history is the most boring thing in the world, don't sign up for honors or AP. Okay? If you've got an interest, if you've got some skills there, these courses may be for you. If not, you've got your decisions right there. And again, if you're not sure, always talk to your teacher. Go down the halls or a teacher that you've had for, say, geography, and talk to them about maybe what they think you should take next year for social science or for English. Next year, regarding English proficiency, if you have done well in English and you feel like you are proficient in English, then go ahead and select that when going through this course registration process. If you've not attained that level, then you need to enroll in English Workshop. Ultimately, however, over the course of the spring and early summer, we're going to be using the English LPI to determine the final placement of students who need additional assistance acquiring the English language through reading and writing more effectively. Moving on to our third category, which is math. Your requirement for graduation here at Granada is 20 units of math, getting through Algebra 1. However, colleges are going to recommend you take 3 for sure, and they recommend you take 4. They're going to require 3, they're going to recommend you take 4. So obviously you guys aren't there yet, it's just your sophomore year next year, but plan on taking math all 4 years that you're here. It's a very important thing to stay in touch with math, if you will, all the way through, because when you get to college, regardless of junior college, trade school, you're going to take some sort of math placement or entrance exam. If you haven't touched that in a year or so, it's going to be detrimental for you. Okay? If you are not sure about which class to take next for math next year, take a look at your course catalog and speak with your current math teacher. They'll be of great help recommending where to go next year. All right, life science. Well, science, and we're going to talk about life science as well as physical science. Some of you took biology this year, not all of you. Many of you will take it next year. Freshmen who have already completed biology, you guys should move on to a physical science. We'll get to that on the next slide. Chemistry is recommended, but check with your teacher for advice. If you took forensics this year or you do not take any science, biology is your starting point for next year. Here's the physical science page. Chemistry is going to be recommended for most of you who have completed bio. It's not a requirement, however. There are other elements, other courses that do meet the physical science requirement if you prefer them. Again, take a look at your catalog, speak with your teacher, and get a recommendation from there. PE. Next year, you all need to take PE again, PE 2A and B. 20 units in PE and passage of the fitnessgram are the requirements for you to satisfy in the realm of PE for graduation. If you do not have 20 units and do not pass the fitnessgram, or the combination of those two, then you will continue to be enrolled in PE until the fitnessgram is passed or you graduate. There is, however, an exemption to this process, okay, and this is the CIF Interscholastic Sports Exemption. Pay very close attention, athletes. Freshmen, if you are planning on playing a varsity sport next year, okay, if you think you can make a varsity sport, you must meet the following criteria, all five, in order to be waived from a section of your PE class next year. Those 5 are: to have passed the fitnessgram this spring, to have completed 1A and B, that's this year, with a B or better, to have an overall GPA of 2.0 or higher in this year, if you will, by the time we're done, be enrolled as a full-time student, and submit the contract within 2 weeks of the start of the sport. Now, you're going to get information regarding it. If you sign up for this, the waiver, you're going to get information from Mr. Conover come fall, and you're going to need to get that paperwork back in, assuming you meet all these criteria. Also, while we're talking about sports, we have a class here at Granada called Human Performance. It is a class that is strongly recommended, and it's designed for our athletes. Not exclusive to our athletes, but it's designed for them. Male or female, regardless of sport, this isn't about just bench pressing or just squatting. This is a course designed to help speed, explosion, power, and strength, regardless of what sport you play. And our recommendation is you are in Human Performance at bare minimum, at least the trimester before your sport. Your winter sport, we recommend you're in Human Performance in the fall. Spring sport, you're in the winter, so on and so forth. All right, let's talk about some electives here. Many of you began taking a world language this year. It would be recommended that you continue with that world language. Colleges are going to want to see 2 years of the same foreign language. However, if it didn't go well this year with the foreign language you chose and you want to switch gears, now would be the time to do so. So you still have the next 3 years to get those 2 years of foreign language in. Also within the realm of foreign language, we're going to kind of talk about 3 different groups here. World language, visual and performing arts, or VAPA, and then I'll come back, CTE. Out of these 3 departments, you are required to have a total of 30 units for graduation. Now those can come in a couple different ways. They can come 10, 10, and 10, and that would satisfy your requirement. They could come in 20 and 10. That would satisfy your requirement. Theoretically, they could come in 15s, but that would be a little off the beaten path with regards to VAPA and CTE. So kind of plan on 20 and 10 or 10, 10, and 10 as your minimum. Now, as I just mentioned, what do colleges want for world language? They want 2 years of the same one. So in many cases, if you went 10, 10, and 10, you'd probably take another year of foreign language that would meet your requirement, meet it for college, and roll on over into your elective category. If you have more questions on what I've just spoke about, take a look in your catalog for that. But here are your world language options. Here's just a few of the many visual and performing arts options. Take a look through your catalog and see which one of the many options. I've listed just a few of them here for you. And same in the CTE area. Okay, tons of options. We've got lots of pathways here, few listed here, and tons more courses. Robotics, machine tool, auto, web page design, video game design, and more. This is really an opportunity where you have kind of a free window here, a free window there of taking and enrolling in a course that you might potentially have an interest in. Great opportunity to start doing so next year. All right, there's a number of other electives that are open to you guys as sophomores next year, including academic prep, human performance, leadership, yearbook, and more. Take a look throughout all the department pages to see the options that are there for you. And for all these electives, please make sure that you're noting any prerequisites that may exist for that class so you can then plan accordingly. All right, let's talk about IB a little bit, International Baccalaureate. You should be a little bit familiar with this program as we introduced it to you last year before you registered as freshmen. Next year, as juniors, you would be eligible to participate in the IB program. It's a junior-senior program. And there's two different routes. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth as we go along. But the IB Diploma students take 6 subject courses plus these 3 courses, TOK, Extended Essay, and the CAS project. All students in this school, regardless of whether you're in the diploma program or not, are able to take IB courses. So as you're looking in your catalog and you're reading, okay, what is this IB thing? Take a look at the difference between that and regular English or AP English or AP, you name it, so that you can kind of get a good feel and make an informed decision, not next year, but the year after. What that brings me to is there's going to be a part of your registration form that says, you know what, I think I'm interested in being involved in an IB course, not next year, but as a junior. So 2 years from now. This isn't putting you, setting anything in stone. This is just helping us to get a gauge for the interest level and help us plan accordingly, even in this case, a year out from where you guys would be potentially taking an IB program course. Take a look on our website for more information, and of course in your catalog for more info on IB. Let's talk about requesting your courses. What do you need? Well, most of the materials that are sitting right in front of you. Course catalog, your 4-year plan, your course request worksheet, obviously knowing your student ID number, having internet access in about 15 or 20 minutes. Now let's take a few brief moments to just review this online registration process. All right, Granada, this is a brief tutorial about the online course selection process that begins today. I want to walk you through these steps. It's the same as it has been in years past. So I just want to bring a couple things to your attention and we'll be moving on. First, beginning here at the home page of Granada, I want to bring your attention to the Resources tab up top and the very first icon, the Course Request and Registration. That brings you here to this page. It has a lot of information and a lot of materials, most of which you have right there in front of you and were pointed out before. Also, the tutorial that you're watching is listed here, specific to each one of your grade levels if you need a reminder or you want to sit down with your parents or something of that nature. You also can log into PowerSchool directly from here. Your PowerSchool login is the same as it is currently. Nothing has been changed there. That should be your user ID and then the password that you currently use. Once we log in, it brings us to our home page. We're going to be dealing with the tab over here on the left-hand side called Class Registration. When we click on that, it often takes a moment to load. And this should look familiar. Again, this follows the same format as your course registration worksheet, which you have in front of you, starting with social science, English, English proficiency, math, and so on. Now, next year's, since you guys are freshmen, sophomores, juniors, next year's sophomores, juniors, seniors, there's some slight differences, but again, for the purpose of this, since we've been through this before, I'm just going to briefly remind you of some basic things here, and then you'll know how to do it specifically. To select your courses in a given category, you select on the pencil over here to the right, and again, what I would encourage you to do is from the get-go, hit the number button. That will organize your classes by numerical number.
For each one of these windows, you have some information up at the top that will help explain what you're looking at, and they also have what you're required to do in order to satisfy this particular area. You'll notice that once I've done what I'm supposed to do, or what I have to do, which is in this case select U.S. history options, my red exclamation point turns into a green check mark, and I'm okay to move on. You'll see that the same thing happens out here, and I have my two courses selected there for U.S. history. I'm going to continue this process all the way through selecting electives, selecting alternates, so on and so forth. What's very important is I get down here to the bottom, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to count how many courses that I have selected to take, not including my alternates, but courses that I'm selected to take, and I'm going to select that number there. Again, your key is that throughout this process you are looking to satisfy each one of your requirements and turn that into a green check mark. That will finally turn into a green check mark at the very bottom, and you'll hit submit. A reminder, this has to be done in one sitting. You can go back anytime over the next approximately month until April 11th when this closes. You can go back in anytime and make changes to this, but you can't do this process partially. In other words, you can't just do the first 4 or 5 areas and then stop after you're done with science. You have to satisfy and get green check marks all the way down and do it in one sitting, otherwise it will not save your selections.
All right, as mentioned in the video, please make sure that you are tapping into the resources page on the Granada website to watch this very same tutorial, as well as all the other registration information and hopefully all the other questions that you might be able to have. Start there and make that your first point of contact. Okay, so again, same bullet point here. When you're reaching a point where you're stuck, start with what's online, with your course catalog. Go to your teachers next, and if you still have questions, you're going to have opportunities to meet with your counselor briefly throughout the spring in a 3rd period class. And you're going to go over the courses that you've chosen, make sure things align with your 4-year plan, so on and so forth. And any last-minute changes that need to happen are going to happen there. From there, moving on, those are going to be your course selections for next year. Please let me reiterate to you, please take your time when going through this process. This is your education. These are your classes. These are hopefully classes, some, yes, that are required, but others that have some great flexibility and freedom for you. Take advantage of that and start to take classes you think you might be interested in. If you love working on cars, we got options for you. You love working on computers or playing video games, we got options for you. If you're gifted artistically on the computer with a paintbrush, with a camera, you're gifted music, I could go on. There's so many options for you the next couple of years to take classes that sound interesting to you. Try them out, and it may lead and just further the passion and the skill set and the interests and desires that you have. So take this process seriously. Check the requirements. Make sure that wherever you're envisioning yourself 3 years from now, going off as a young man or woman, as an 18-year-old, what are you doing next? What do you want to have of option to you? Plan for that now. Complete your course request worksheet. Choose wisely. Converse with your parents or your guardian, and make sure that you are on pace. You've got at least 12 classes selected for next year, obviously not more than 15. That you have spent time with your alternates. This is a very important piece, because if you cannot get an elective especially that you requested, then we're going to turn right to your alternates. So choose alternates that are a very close second to the electives that you've chosen, so we can fill those in for you. And again, if you need more assistance, hop online and follow the tutorials that are there. Please, a couple last things and we're done here. First of all, note that the courses you select, they're yours. We have over 2,100 students in this school with potentially 12 to 15 different requests. That's a huge puzzle. That puzzle is built and designed based upon what you ask for, though. So it's important that you take time and choose those properly. Also, like I mentioned before, your alternates may be filled in, so take time there, because those could be courses you end up enrolled in. Also, a third note, please note that both parts of an AB course must be completed in a given school year. It's really not 2 different courses like you'd think of. World History A and B is not 2 different courses. That's one course split in half. But you may not drop the portion B of a course. That's one course, and that's what you're signing up for next year. Lastly, please go through this process of selecting your courses carefully and understand that the schedule that you get in August will be according to what it is you select now, and therefore, outside of an error on our part, schedule changes won't be needed or allowed. So, last but not least, take your time, do it wisely. Sit down with your folks and make sure you're dialed in with what you're taking for next year. You can stay in touch with us or follow, get important updates, so on and so forth, through a variety of mediums, Twitter, Facebook, and of course our website. Freshmen, thank you for your attention for your course registration for next year, your sophomore year. Get your registration done, give it good detail, and thank you for your time and attention.